What's going on? Welcome to the weekly axe kicking. Today we're going to talk about how to transcribe a pop song for solo guitar. So I'm not going to actually do any playing today. I just want to talk about a few of the key concepts that you'll want to have covered when you first approach this. First of all, this is I want to make this as accessible as possible. Meaning, you don't have to be, you don't have to have had years of experience doing this to be able to pull it off. You also don't need to be a virtuosic, finger picker to pull it off. Now, that leads me to my first point, that having a certain level of finger picking chops down will be very helpful. If you just use a pick, it's going to really kind of limit how much you can get around the instrument. When you transcribe, let's just say, like we were saying, a pop tune for solo guitar, there's a few things that you need to have covered. Mainly the harmony and the vocal melody. You don't want to overdo it technique-wise, because that melody can then get obscured. The vocal melody is what most people hang on to when you have a catchy song. And the harmony is just obviously there to get the basic chord progression across while you're communicating the harmony. When you're communicating the melody. So basically, having a certain degree of finger picking chops will be very helpful. I did a whack episode called Finger Picking Chords that you should go ahead and look up if you want a little more insight into finger picking, if you haven't done much of it. And once you got that down, you're pretty much going to be ready to go. Again, we're not talking about transcribing a virtuosic like piano or violin thing for guitar. We're keeping it very base level, very accessible. We're just going to pick a pop tune. As far as what song that is, I haven't really decided. There's a couple we could do. I have a couple in mind. Maybe next week I'll pick one and we'll kind of roll with that. But here are the core concepts that you're going to want to have down no matter what song you pick. The first one, as I said, is the harmony. You need to have the basic chord progression of that song completely down, okay? And it'll be to your advantage to pick something really easy just to get started, mainly open chords, okay? Try to deviate from a lot of bar chords as best you can. So harmony, you'll also want the melody. Now, you want to be able to have that vocal melody internalized and be able to play it on the guitar. This is where, during the transcription process, it can get really fun, because there's so many ways you can execute a melody on the guitar. We can take advantage of the different little performance techniques, whether it's a little trill, a slide, a little bend. We can really kind of take care of, or we can really treat the melody in different ways once we kind of sink our teeth into it. So that's the harmony, the melody, the groove. This is where it can start to get a little tricky. When you hear, say, someone like Michael Chapdelaine, by the way, YouTube Michael Chapdelaine, if you haven't heard of him, brilliant guitar player and just an amazing guy in general. He does a lot of kind of percussive hits on the guitar throughout. That, when you're first starting out with this concept, that may be something that's a bit advanced for now, but we can find ways to get the groove across. Just a simple kind of slap on the guitar maybe not every quarter note, but every measure, every 4 beats, every whatever. There's certain things we can do. Also listen to like More Than Words by Extreme. The way Nuno just kind of does this. Just kind of does a light little hit on the guitar in between the chords. That can be another effective way of getting the groove across. So harmony, melody, groove. And then I guess the one last thing that we'll have to wrap it up is just, and this is going to be the main point, the difficult part, is making it fit on the instrument. Okay, for example, when you figure out the harmony, the chords, once you work in the melody and those little grooves, you probably won't be able to play the G chord the same way. You'll want the melody to most likely be on top, So instead of just strumming like, a full-on G chord, maybe the melody is doing the major 6, so the melody's doing an E. You'll want to strum the G chord with, that open E. If that open E needs to be the main note, maybe you want to take the D out of the 3rd string and do the G like this with that open B. That way, the E melody note will not be so intervallically close to this D, and that E note would get a bit obscured. I hope this is making sense. But so those are 4 of the crucial elements you're going to want to look out for: harmony, melody, groove, and making it fit. And next week, I'm going to go ahead and pick a song that we're going to start applying all these concepts to. And we're going to do it in a few different parts, a few different videos, just to ease our way into it. And like I said, make it as accessible as possible. So anyways, I hope this was a good starting point, and we're going to start sinking our teeth into it next week. See you then.